If you are religious, you most likely believe life begins at conception, that once an egg is fertilized, that's a life created by God. And if man ends that life, that's murder. So what does that say about ObamaCare? The new health care law requires employers to pay for contraception for all their employees, including the morning after pill. So Obamacare forces employers who think abortion's murder to pay for what they think is murder. And that's an assault on liberty, says Tim Carney of the Washington Examiner. No, that's not the way to think about it, says attorney Tamara Holder. So it's not? Why?
Well, first of all, employers aren't forced to give their employees birth control. The health insurance plan is supposed to cover certain things, and this is paid for through their premiums. So it's the insurance company that is giving health care to the employees.
Obamacare requires the employer to fund the contraception of their employees, and that is an infringement on liberty.
Do you know how many people are actually in support of this idea or of this bill? That there are 70%. A new poll just came out that 70%.
Okay, I'll accept that, but I would still say, so what? If it's 90%, it's not a tyranny of the majority. Do you see the problem if you think it's murder and you're being forced to enable it?
No, you're not enabling murder. You are providing health care to your employee, and that's it. Morals should not be in the workplace.
There's lots of people who want to run a business in what they consider is a moral way.
Right, but it doesn't involve sex. But it does not involve sex. What somebody does, now is the employer going to say, you know what, I'm not going to hire you, or I'm going to fire you because I heard that you have a boyfriend and you're having premarital sex with that person. Well, and I believe that that's immoral. It's just the
employers should
argument.
Be forbidden for doing that. This guy starts a company. He has his principles, whatever they are. He doesn't get the right to say, you stand on your head if I want you to, or don't work here.
But this is the law. Obamacare is a law, and the law requires health insurance.
No question.
And
you're comfortable with this big law making sure women get these services, that government is right to impose this on employers?
I believe that if it is a prescription medication, which birth control is, then it should be provided by the employer.
They only have to pay for prescription.
Yes, a woman must get a prescription.
What's the reasoning for that? Why is that the line?
Because it's a prescription.
So
it's covered. That's part of health care, our prescription medication. What I'm saying is that if you want to take, condoms are not covered by health care, by Obamacare. If you want to take this out of the debate, well, no, they're never going to be. You want to take this out of the debate, put birth control pills right next to condoms in aisle 4, and you won't have the problem.
What bothers me is that it's government telling everybody what to do. What if the next government is a religious conservative government and they decree that no company can pay for contraception?
And this is part of the thing, is that when people talk about a culture war in the United States, it's always presented as, oh, well, you've got these religious conservatives trying to impose their morality. That's even the way the contraception mandate debate is presented. Oh, these bosses want to impose their morality. But the people imposing their morality in America today mostly, I think, are the cultural left. I have to fund Planned Parenthood with my tax dollars. If I'm an employer, I have to pay for my employees' contraception and morning after pill. And so it's becoming illegal to live as a conservative Christian, as a conservative Jew, as a conservative Muslim. That's the culture war in America today.
But here's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. If you are a conservative person, are you a fiscal liberal? Because unplanned pregnancy costs $12 billion a year. This came out by the Brookings Institute, $12 billion. So are you saying, okay, well then, no birth control because I'm a moral conservative, but you know it costs taxpayers all this money, $12 billion a year, so I'm okay with that.
Well, and I think this is an argument for. I'm a Catholic, and I think it's an argument for a lot of my fellow Catholics and Christians to understand why government shouldn't be getting into these games in the first place, because this is exactly sort of the camel's nose under the tent situation, where once government is paying for health care, then all of a sudden it gives this excuse for government to say, well, this is how you have to live your life. You have to prevent pregnancies. You can't eat this donut. You can't smoke this cigarette. So this is an argument for anybody who says, I don't want government to infringe on my liberty, to take another step back and say, maybe government shouldn't be playing a role in any of these aspects of our lives in the first place.
Birth control pills cost $10 a month at Walmart. Why does it have to be a government Barbara Streisand could pay for every poor woman's birth control.
This is not about buying at $10 a month your birth control pill. What about you know, like I said, Viagra or OxyContin or any kind of prescription pill, health medicine or heart medicine.
That's not mandatory.
Nobody should be forced to pay for anybody else's Viagra or OxyContin.
It is under.
Obamacare, they're paying for Viagra?
No, it's part of the prescription health plan. These are things the employer can't say, you know what, I believe that you shouldn't, if you're in pain.
Why can't they?
They're not telling you what you can and can't take. They're saying,
why can't they? Wait a second.
Yes, they are.
Why shouldn't they? I created this business. Why can't I say what drugs you take? You don't like it, don't work for me. That's part of freedom.
I don't want you to take your heart medicine, even though you have congestive heart failure.
Then don't work for me.
You don't have a right.
I'm a nut.
You don't have a right
don't work
to your,
for me then.
You don't have a right to your employer's money. But it's even a step back from that. Is saying this is not about whether employers are allowed to say you can't take any birth control at all. This is another step further, simply saying, what should the employer be forced to pay for? And you are saying that you have a right to that employer's money. If he wants to pay you in cash instead of contraception, that will be illegal come January 1st.
No, this is through the health plan. This is not, the employer is not giving a person money and saying, here's $10.
But the employer is being forced to pay for the health plan.
Right, and it's the person, but the employees pay their premiums. Remember that they're paying for their health care as well.
But the employees like me who do not want to pay for premiums that cover contraception, because my wife and I were Catholic, we're happy. We have 4 kids. We have a growing family. We don't want to buy that. You're making us pay for the plan that covers contraception for everybody. That's externalizing
the cost. A plan.
And that if my employer wants to provide a plan that doesn't cover your contraception, that should be up to the employer, because you do not have a right to his money.